It ain't cool being no jive turkey so close to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Hello, happy April 1st, and welcome to my March 2022 book haul video. And if there's one thing in this world that I hate, it's April Fool's jokes, so expect none here today. With that being said, I'd like to thank our new unofficial sponsor, Pepsi. Thank you, Pepsi, for all you do. And now that that's out of the way, let's get on with the book haul. So I got some things from this month. Some of the stuff came in the mail. We'll take a look at that. But I also made a couple of stops that were somewhat fruitful, I think. The first one I want to take a look at happened when I was coming home from work. My wife sent me a text message saying, "Can you pick up some brown sugar because we got to make cookies for so-and-so." So I stopped in at the grocery store, and right next to the grocery store is a thrift store, and I can't remember the name of it. It's one of those, it's a Christian thrift store that sells Stephen King books, so I don't know. Anyway, I stopped in at this thrift store, and they actually had some books that I bought. And they were in a bag, and I haven't looked at them again since. One interesting thing about this thrift store is I came back with a short stack of books, maybe 5. I go up to the counter and the lady says, "Oh, you should have filled a bag." And I said, "Well, I don't have a bag. This is all the books I wanted anyway." And she said, "Oh, well, they're $1 a piece. If you'd have filled a bag, it'd be $3 for the whole bag." And then behind her was another lady that pulled out a plastic bag and handed it to me. So I put my books in the bag and said, "Do I have to go back and get more?" And she said, "Oh, no, that's good enough." So I got my books for $3 plus tax instead of 5 because of a bag. Strange, but it's how it goes. The first book I want to show you from that book haul is one that I don't know anything about. Like I said, I haven't even taken these books out of the bag yet. They've been sitting here for a little while. But there's an author named John Avita Lindquist, which wrote a book over here somewhere, you can see, called Let the Right One In. You ever hear of it? And it was pretty doggone good. So I figured, I saw this one on the shelf here, and that is Harbor. I figured I'd give this one a shot. A pretty fat paperback book, kind of in between mass market size and trade size. I don't know what you would call this, but I'm going to put this on the stack over there behind you, right behind you back there. Books What Gots to Be Read pile, and I'll get to it pretty soon. I haven't read it. I haven't read anything else from the author, but this author is beloved by a lot of folks, so I figured I ought to get reading. The next one on my list is a book that actually I'll show you both of these. I have no idea about this publisher, Impress Mystery. I'm pretty sure it's not anything worth a lot of money or valuable or anything like that, but I've heard a lot of things great about Raymond Chandler by people who love this type of books. This one is called The Big Sleep, and I'm a big Humphrey Bogart fan, and if you ask me what's your favorite Humphrey Bogart movie, I'm probably going to tell you one of 2, and it'll be which one I saw most recently. And it's going to be a toss-up, The Big Sleep or The Maltese Falcon. I love those movies. To me, that's classic Humphrey Bogart, and really, truly, honestly, if I watch The Big Sleep, I'm going to say that's my favorite Humphrey Bogart film. If I watch The Maltese Falcon, I'm going to say that's my favorite Humphrey Bogart film. While The Maltese Falcon is a story that's a little bit more coherent and easy to follow, the Bogart character in Big Sleep I tend to prefer. Now, I haven't read anything ever from Raymond Chandler, but I'm excited to. And these books actually looked kind of neat. There's nothing special about them, but they look different. They almost look slightly classy, and I thought they might look good on the shelf. And if nothing else, they'll be good to read, and then do whatever I do with the books that I read, which they're stacking up, and I haven't figured out what to do with them yet. But anyway, these were kind of neat. Well worth the big time money that I paid for them. What's next? Back in about 2001, I read a book called The Wizard of Oz. Ever hear of it? It's written by a person named L. Frank bomb. I checked it out from the library, and it was a very, very old hardback book. Now I wish I had it. I should have kept it. I don't know what the library charges you when you don't return a book, but I should have kept that one and just paid whatever their fees were. This thrift store had a hardcover copy of The Wizard of Oz. Again, nothing special in terms of value or publisher. This one comes from Modern Publishing, but I liked this. I liked the book back then. I wanted to read it again. I love this movie. It's a movie that I'm going to watch at least annually, and I got a little hardcover version of it. And once again, if nothing else, I got me another copy to read. And it smells good. It smells like a library. And for us with the struggling eyes, it's large print, so it should help in that regard. All right, what do I want to do next? What do I want to do next? Next, I wanted to show you, not too long ago, I was up in the north middle part of the state, not far from Gainesville, Florida, and I know, hey, Gainesville's got a Second and Charles. Every now and then I get up in there and I find something good every now and then. And this time I actually found some stuff to buy. I had a lot of close calls, a lot of books where I almost got excited, but I wasn't quite there for one reason or another. I don't even remember the details, but a couple times I got really, and then I look a little farther and it was blah. It was a remaindered book, or it was a 14th print book, or I don't know, just different things. So I had probably 4 or 5 that I went, and then I just set them back down because I found something wrong with it. But the first one I want to show you is a novel by Nelson DeMille. And I love Nelson DeMille, but I love him in kind of the wrong way. I've only read the John Corey stories, and that's it, starting with Plum Island. I've read 5 of them, and I love them. I love the character. And I've never read anything else from Nelson DeMille. So I say I'm a fan of Nelson DeMille, but really I'm a fan of John Corey. I have no idea if I like anything else besides John Corey. I need to fix that. I know. My fault. I need to read some more Nelson DeMille. But thumbing through the Nelson DeMille books, I found Spencerville, which I already had. The problem is, I discovered a while back, sometimes at some bookstores, there's a little something extra in a book that you didn't know about. And there it is. This one's signed by Nelson DeMille. And I've got only one. I've got 2 other books signed by the author. But hey, for $8.25, I'll buy Spencerville, signed by Nelson DeMille, any day of the week, twice on Sunday, and this was on a Tuesday, so only one. And it's a first edition, first print copy. There's the number line, goes all the way down to 1. So that's exciting for me, something to add to the shelf. And I've already got a hardcover copy of this book, unsigned of course, which I'll turn into a reader copy once I get to it. That book's what gots to be read pile is fat. The next thing I found to buy at that Second and Charles was William Peter Blatty, Legion. At a different Second and Charles, I got a first print hardcover just like this, only it was signed. And no matter how hard I looked at this book, it was not signed. But it is a first print copy from an author that wrote probably one of my 3 favorite books. Legion is phenomenal, and I don't know. I bought it. It was there. I bought it. First print copy. I bought it for $5.35. I'll take it. I'll have 2, one signed and one unsigned. And that's just the way it goes, bros. The last thing I got at this Second and Charles bookstore is another one that I already had. However, the other one that I already had is not in very good shape. The spine has a nice lean to it, and I just figured I'd put it on the stack of books what got to be read, and I would get to it and read it. And this time I found a perfect version of it, and no matter how hard I looked, it's not signed. Ain't that weird? Look at that. Ooh, cool. But Blake Crouch is quickly becoming one of my favorite authors. If you've never read Dark Matter, you're missing out. You've got a delight ahead of you should you ever get to it. But this is a hardcover copy of Recursion by Blake Crouch. And again, first print copy. Number line goes all the way down to 1. If I'm buying first editions for anything other than reading, I want to get a first print. That's just the way I am. That's how I started collecting books. First edition, first print was what I wanted. So I got one of these, and this will sit proudly on the shelf unless I ever get a signed copy, and then this one will get probably bumped for the signed copy. But I don't know. Blake Crouch says that he signs a lot of books, but I don't see Blake Crouch signed books for sale. Not at stores, not on eBay. They're very infrequent, and when they are, they're high. So I may never get it signed. Who knows? All right, so we're through with the bookstore shopping. A book that I picked up on eBay because I didn't have a copy of it is A Stab in the Dark. This is a UK soft cover by Lawrence Block, a Matthew Scudder mystery. If you've ever heard of Matthew Scudder, I'm a fan. You ever heard of Lawrence Block? I'm a fan. And Liam Neeson made a film called A Walk Among the Tombstones, which was a Matthew Scudder, based on a Matthew Scudder book. This one is a book that's practically impossible to find. I didn't have any copies. I collect first edition, first prints. I want them all signed, and I don't have one. Whenever you see them for sale, they're many, many hundreds of dollars for some reason. I don't know why. Must have been hard to come by. But I didn't have any versions of this book at all, which is stupid, man. So now I do. I bought this one on eBay, got it at a fair price, nothing expensive. I don't remember for sure. I might be lying if I tell you, but I think maybe less than 10 bucks. And it's a signed Lawrence Block, Stab in the Dark. I probably wouldn't have bought it except for the hardcover. It's so hard to come by. I figured I'd at least have something. Since it's signed is always better, bubs. So that was an eBay purchase. Let's look here and see what else we got. Which one do I want to do first? All right. Another author by the name of Joe R. Lansdale. Ever hear of him? Writes the Happen Leonard series. Where are we at? Happen Leonard books. And I bought an ARC advanced review copy on eBay of his short story collection called Born for Trouble. It's just come out, but I bought the ARC on eBay, and that kind of getting a free ARC and then selling it, that pisses people off, which I can see why. But I had a chance to buy it cheap, and it was cheap. So I bought it and got it, and it's mine now. But I had already also pre-ordered a copy of this book signed from Murder by the Book. And it came in the mail yesterday or the day before, I don't recall which. But I figured, what better time than now? What better place than here? Actually, what better place than here, and what better time than now? I think those are the correct lyrics. For all of you Zach De La Rocca fans out there, let me know. What better time to open it up than right here in front of you all, y'all, all of you, and see what she looks like, and see how Joe signed it. If there's one thing in this world that I do know, is that if you get Joe Lansdale signatures and you get 20 of them, you're going to have 20 different signatures that really don't look much like each other. He's, I think his muscle memory in his hand, there's a problem with it. It doesn't work right. Every autograph looks a little bit different. That's cool with me. I'm not complaining. It's just an interesting observation. Murder by the Book. These stories are killer. Ooh, better watch out. Comes with a bookmark. This is a publisher that I don't know about, never dealt with, never heard of, however, or a bookseller that I don't know about, never heard of. However, they're working with Joe Lansdale and Casey Lansdale, so they can't be all bad, can they? And I wanted it signed. I could have got the book a week earlier or more if I bought it on Amazon, but I wanted a signed copy. And here we are, Born for Trouble, a collection of Happen Leonard stories. So the further adventures of Happen Leonard stories. Edgar Award-winning author of Moon Lake. Moon Lake I've also got. I've also got a trade hardcover of Moon Lake signed. I've got ones that came with a signed book plate that I laid in, and then one that was flat signed. And I've got a pre-ordered the limited edition from SST Publications out of the UK. This one here was just more Happen Leonard stories. If you're a fan of Happen Leonard, how could you pass up on more Happen Leonard stories? And if you're a fan of Joe Lansdale, how could you pass up on a signed copy? And just as I figured, this signature looks different than any other Joe Lansdale signature that I got. Just the way it goes. you almost got to buy mini versions of every book so you could have every version of the Joe Lansdale signature on your book. But one of my very favorite authors, seems to be one cool dude. I never met him, but anyway, there you are. And two more. This one here is a book that I bought on Amazon, and here's how it was shipped. I don't know. It wasn't very much, and it was a soft cover version of a book by an author that I needs to get reading. I bought it to read, so I'm not too upset. I'm not going to complain much about our pack job. I can live with it in this case. But I've got some awesome signed and limited edition books from Stephen Graham Jones, The Only Good Indians, and Mongrels so far. And I've got a couple others pre-ordered from SST Publications out of the United Kingdom. They make beautiful books, great books. And I've never read the author. So when I'm looking at my shelves, I'm sure you got the same problem. It's hard to find room. You keep running out of room. You buy more shelves, you start running out of room. I need to get to reading them, figure out if I actually like them or not, and if I don't, move them on down the line. So the first one I started off with was Mongrels. I haven't read it yet. I just opened the package, but this one's going to go very high on the books what gots to be read pile back there. There's at least two ahead of it, maybe three, but this one's jumping the line. It's going to jump ahead of a bunch of other great books that I really need to read. That's the way it goes. It's my list, my time. I read Mongrels. I also need to get a reader copy of The Only Good Indians so I can put that on the books in which I have read list and books in which I can tell you all about list should I ever get there. But this was a reader copy, Stephen Graham Jones, and I can't wait to get to it. Number Last was a book I bought on eBay. It was more of an impulse buy. I said, that's neat. I'm not even sure all about it, but it's not very expensive yet, so I'll place a bid on it. And I don't really mind if I get outbid, but if I win it at that price, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll see what it's all about and hope for the best. So it came shipped like this. Obviously, it's a tall, thin book, but in this packaging, there's no real padding. Even if it is cardboard, you get dings on it from the post office. That ding is easily transferred into the book. So hopefully my book is in as good a shape as it was in the pictures from the listing. And I don't see any dings. I don't feel any dings, so we might be good to go. And this one is what it is. Weird Tales, hardcover book. Weird Tales, number 305. Number 305. Now, what is so special about this book? It's signed. I don't know anything about it. We're going to find out together. It is, here we go. I do have this magazine up there. So that's that's a magazine cover. Weird Tales. Artwork by Bob Eggleton. Winter 92, 93. I have it up there somewhere in a stack because it's got an F. Paul Wilson story in it that I wanted. Here's some more neatness to it. Some recreations of the magazine and a signature page. It's signed by one of my very favorite authors, F. Paul Wilson. It's also signed by George H. Seethers, Bob Eggleton, and Derek Schweitzer, number 44 of 75. And if there's one thing in this world that I do know, 44 is one of my very favorite numbers. When I was a kid, my favorite football player was John Riggins of the Washington Redskins. And so when I see that number, it always brings a smile to my face. There it is, number 44 of 75. I want to say I paid $20-something for this book, but I don't remember. Here's the table of contents, and again, this is it appears as though this is a deluxe edition of that magazine up there. It includes Midnight Mass by F. Paul Wilson, which was originally a short story that was expanded into, I think, a novella, and then expanded into a novel. You may have heard of it. I got a couple. May have heard of it. I got a couple copies. The trade hardcover, as well as the limited edition from Cemetery Dance. It also has So it says, Midnight Mass. Was evil victorious precisely because men doubted the power of God? And then, Mirror, Mirror, even wicked stepmothers have to keep pace with the times. Tina and Tony Rath. Sirens, the figure in the darkness, sang to her of death. Steve Rasnick, Tim. Yellow Rome, or Virgil and the Vestal Virgin. Of Magics, Mysteries, and Tender Mercies. Avram Davidson. When he was fab, his life, career, charisma went right down the drain, literally. F. Paul Wilson. Verse, Monsters by Joe Haldeman, 56. Winter by Kathleen Yeoman, 61. Conan, Postmortem by Ann K. Schwader. But just look at this thing. It's neat. It looks like an old magazine. Even the pages are tanned as though it were an old magazine. It just looks neat. So I'm glad I got it. I wonder how many of these things were made. Maybe I need to find some more. But really cool. Cool artwork in it. Very neat layout, like a magazine, like I said. Bump in the Night books, advertisements. So really cool, man. This thing is well worth the money I paid for it. Glad I got it. Didn't know it existed. I've been collecting F. Paul Wilson books since 2000, 2001, somewhere around there. So if you do the math correctly, over 20 years, and I didn't know such a thing existed. I got it at a good price, came in good shape, and I'm very pleased. And I reached the end. So with that being said, I've got no more lies to tell, people. C'est la vie, baby.